Hello, stat students, and welcome to the continuing lesson on estimating proportions of a population. And I'm going to assume that you understand certain words like critical value, critical region, confidence level, confidence interval. If you do not understand those words, please look at your notes from the previous lesson or check out one of the other videos. Okay. Otherwise, we are going to proceed. Okay. So the first idea we're going to talk about here is margin of error, and let me give you the definition first. So the margin of error is equal to z alpha over 2 times the square root of p hat times q hat over n. Okay, and that whole expression there is inside of the square root. And again, I'll explain what all of this means in a minute once we do an example. But let's just get the basics here. So p hat is the proportion of the sample. Okay. Q hat is of course just 1 minus p hat. Okay. N is the sample size. And z alpha over 2, this is a z-score. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. It's a z-score, and it depends on confidence level. Okay. And from the previous lesson, we learned that confidence level is a convention. It's something that gets chosen first, and then the rest of the mathematics follow from there. Okay. Alright, and so we'll talk about margin of error in just a minute. Now let's look at constructing confidence intervals. And first, there's really 5 steps to this. The first is to verify the requirements. And there's a couple of them. One is that NP greater than or equal to 5 and NQ is greater than or equal to 5. Next, we need to check that this is a simple random sample. So that's the first requirement. Second requirement. Okay. And so if these requirements aren't met, then we cannot even use the rest of these mathematics. Okay. Then we want to determine the critical value. And for this, we are going to use inverse norm on your calculator, or sometimes we can use like a lookup table. And I'll go over some examples of that in a minute. 3, find margin of error. Using the formula above. 4, we want to write an interval. So the interval is written this way: p hat minus the error is less than p hat plus the error. In other words, whatever estimate we come up with plus the error, whatever estimate we come up with minus the error, that should be the upper bound. And this is the lower bound. Okay. And then finally, once we get all the answers, we round our answers to 3 significant digits. Okay. One thing I should note here, I'll make a side note, is that if we do some of the arithmetic or the algebra here, we get that p hat is the upper limit plus the lower limit, all divided by 2. Basically, it's just the average of the upper and the lower. This part right here. Okay, and this will be useful for some other cases that we work with. Okay. So those are just some of the basics here when we're dealing with margin of error. Okay. So I'm going to end this video here. We talked a lot about some definitions and some basic requirements and a process. The next video will show you how to apply this process. Okay. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.